we have two of the members of In June, the founding members, Kirsten Rian and David Weigel. Is it pronounced right?
It's Weigel.
Weigel?
It's one of those German things. It's Weigel.
Like Wiener Schnitzel and...
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Great to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you after all these years.
Yeah, it has been, what, 3 years almost?
Uh-huh.
Man. So what you been doing in that spare time?
Working on this record.
But,
non-stop, every day.
Every single day? Right after you get out of work, you rush home to the studio and start putting things together?
That's actually just about the case.
We've taken a couple of days off.
Oh,
yes.
That's good.
And working a lot to pay for all of this.
Oh, you work too, huh?
Yes.
That's got to be hard, huh?
It is, actually. I hate it.
Now, it's been 3 years since your last release, Ungawa, beepbeep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came out with the CD single, I mean the vinyl single for Melt.
Right.
And now, how come it's been so long since that vinyl single to now that you've released this new CD with Melt on it?
A combination of things. Actually, just getting everything together, getting all the material. We really wanted this album to be have some projects, have some songs on it that we've been working on for a long time, and so we needed to sort of get them in their final stages. But also, really, a lot of it was, it is so expensive to do this. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so we were just working and trying to figure out how we wanted to do this, and just decided it was better to take our time and end up with something that was really quality that we would be able to promote the way we wanted to, rather than just getting something out to get it out, because everyone is supposed to release something every year and a half, you know.
Yeah.
And we just decided that it was more important to end up with something that we would be happy with.
It's like what my grandfather always said. He said, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it all.
Exactly.
There you
Take
go.
your time and do it right.
That's right.
And you guys definitely did it right on this one.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely. I can definitely see you evolving here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because right when we finish this thing, we've already progressed to another level, even more so than where we were when we were working on the record itself. I mean, we're at a totally different stage of evolution now, even since the recording. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the next record.
Definitely. What do you think you... sorry?
Well, that's the thing. That's one of the... We're constantly writing songs, especially Dave. He needs to slow down, but we're always working on new songs, and part of the reason that we just are continually writing and creating new things is partly because we enjoy it and we love it and we have to do it, but also because you can't grow and change as a musician or an artist of any kind if you're not constantly creating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think otherwise it doesn't promote change or growth if you're just stagnant.
Right.
So.
Where do you think you're heading musically? I mean, I noticed on one of the songs I played last week, was it All Izzy Didn't Sing? Mm-hmm. It sounds kind of like you get into, not the heavy metal, but like the hard girl bands that were like kind of like L7 or Fluffy combined together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started to feel, there's a track on there called Hysterical. We're feeling that that's more in the vein of the direction that we're headed right now. Mm-hmm. We're trying to emphasize more of the jazzy rhythmic undertones that are in that song, and then bringing out those sort of qualities in Kirsten's voice, and then me sort of laying back more and doing more textural work on the guitars rather than really in your face power chord type stuff.
But also having, I agree with all that, as well as having the like you said, the real textural, washy sound to the instrumentation. But at the same time, I always want there to be an element of edge, sort of underneath. And I think with Hysterical we got exactly the sound that I think is the best for us. And with Izzy, that Izzy song, I think one of the reasons we included it on there was because we've been playing that song live for years and years and years, because it's so has so much energy to it. It works really well live compared to some of the mellower ones. Mm-hmm. But I think on the record it also works to sort of balance out some of the mellower songs as well. So.
It was definitely like a big evolution from the last CD. It's like the last CD was kind of pretty mellow and timid in a way on the songs, but in this one you're coming out and you're really like bringing out the inner you, like the true self that's inside Kirsten Rian.
Yeah, I try. That's one of the reasons it took so long to record, because it was a big process for me to go through to get to that point. But I felt it's interesting to hear you say that, having heard our stuff, going back 4 or 5 years, 3 years at least, but that Ungawa beepbeep CD came out like 3.5 years ago, and to hear then you have that observation, because that's really great, because that's what I was trying to go for. Just even if no one else got it, I just knew it. I had to be able to say that had happened on this record.
Yeah.
And I hadn't felt that at the end of Ungawa beepbeep, and it was sort of a disappointment.
David, what did you do to bring it out of her? It must be the marriage thing going for you, huh?
Well, there's one of my favorite tracks that did not make it onto the album. Well, hopefully it'll go on the next one. But it sort of was a microcosm of the whole experience, in that there was it was very hard, very difficult, and so a lot of what you hear in terms of emotions in her is me screaming at her, saying, "Come on, come on."
That's not true. Well, why it was so frustrating for, I think, it was hard for me, but it was difficult emotionally for me, but it was frustrating for everyone else in the band and in the studio, because I knew exactly what I wanted in my head. I had it. I heard it in my head, but it took me a while to be able to get it. And so I would get these takes, and they'd be on perfect pitch, and for all intents and purposes, they would be great. And I would say, no, I'm doing it again. And I would do this like on some songs a lot. And but now I think everyone finally realizes that they just have to let me do this, because I will eventually get what I want. But if it sounds, people weren't hearing what I was hearing. They thought it was fine the way that it was. But, only you know what it's supposed to sound like.
That's right. Now, sometimes the difference between getting played and collecting dust on a CD can be a minor detail of having a good CD cover, or even placing a charming phone call to a station music director, which I know you do well. How far would you go to make a CD sell? How far do you go to make a CD sell?
Well, sales and airplay are two different things.
Right.
On the sales issue, we decided this year, we've worked with different distributors on and off throughout the years, and done that whole retail thing, and we decided that so much has gone into this, and we've spent so many years doing it, that we wanted to, we had created our own website, and we decided that we would just make the CDs available through that, like exclusively through us. So we cut out all the distributor slime people and just are dealing with it ourselves. So, and that's riskier, because we won't obviously make as many sales probably, but that's never really been an issue for us.
Right.
The airplay thing, on the other hand, has been, because that's why we do this, because we want people to hear it. And so we go to great lengths to get it played, in terms of calling people and making sure we find out when their office hours are, and call them and talk to them and build relationships up with people. Just like hearing from you last week, and tonight we heard from this music director up in Maine that we hadn't heard from in like 3 years, and it was just, building those kinds of relationships too, I think, are really important.
Yeah.
Just on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at a certain point, it goes past. Well, I've done this record and I want to get it played. You know, it's not even. It's bigger than that.
Right.
So.
Well, it's never been, and this may be naive. It's never been our number one focus to make money. It's been first and foremost to get it out there for people to hear and enjoy.
Yeah.
But first, like college radio stations, you get tons and tons of CDs, and it's like, how do we know which ones to play? And it's like, you know, do you close your eyes and just grab a couple because there's not enough time to really play all of them?
Yeah.
But the thing that really caught me and helped me to play your CD back 4 years ago was, you know, I played a song and I liked it, and then I called you, and you were very friendly and very personable, and it just kind of made me want to play your music even more. And then I noticed when I was reading through your press packet, a lot of the bands seemed to feel the same way. I mean, a lot of the radio stations and DJs across the country feel the same way.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps you out.
Yeah, I don't know what other independent artists are doing, but we are constantly, you know, there's a fine line between being salesmen and artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're constantly. I mean, if we had it our way, we'd do nothing but make music all day long. But by the same token, we also have to get it out there, like what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy, but if you're ever feeling, you know, down about it and you think you're not going to make it, just look at Ani DeFranco. Have you heard of Ani?
Oh, Ani's my goddess. Oh. Ani is my idol. I worship Ani.
Definitely. Look at what she's done and where she started out.
Yep.
You know, she's basically a major label herself now.
I know.
We really respect that about her.
Definitely.
I guess she was on.
Respect for her.
Was she on Conan O'Brien last night?
Really?
And I think we taped it because we're so old we can't stay up late anymore. So when we finish, we're going to go watch it.
But also, I noticed I was reading the Village Voice last week, and I noticed that that's so funny you would mention that, because she had this like quarter-page ad in Village Voice for playing one of those Central Park center stage things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all like by herself in the middle of Central Park in Manhattan, and I remember looking at that going, wow, she's like done it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And she did it like 5 years ago. I mean, she just built up.
Yep.
This following all by herself, just on her sheer talent, you know, and her guts and her intuition, and
yeah, she's great.
She's amazing.
What I don't understand is why she was opening up for Bob Dylan. I mean, she could have filled these concert halls all by herself. She didn't need to like open up for Bob Dylan, but.
She
did a few shows.
Opening up for Bob Dylan.
Maybe she did it more. You know, there are certain people that if they really influenced you, it would just be so amazing to like be sharing a bill with them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you also hear that Prince is going to be putting out an album on her label?
No, I didn't know that.
He wants to. He's sick of the big labels, and he wants to make his own label. And he's going to Ani for advice on how to do it.
Wow.
And he's even thinking about putting an album out on her label just to give it a try.
That's cool.
It's definitely
cool. We're both Prince fans. I guess he's coming to town here, and the tickets are like $70
a piece.
Yikes.
Love to see him.
Not that much.
Not that much. Hey, Prince, if you can hear this, comp me some ticks, baby.
I know. You got enough money, Prince. You can lower the prices. He's got to get the extra bucks so he can pay for all the PR material to make that little symbol.
Exactly.
Oh, boy. All right, on with the next question. Now, is the grunge fad over in the Northwest there? I mean, can we finally relax now and say, oh, phew, it's finally over?
Well, that was also one of the reasons why we waited so long to put this darn thing out, is because we were kind of waiting for that whole scene to die down a little bit, because it was just so crazy, and when you listen to a song like Izzy on our CD, it is somewhat motivated by the fact that we were constantly billed with grunge bands, and they were all, in these little hole clubs that unless you're playing some huge music, then you're kind of ignored. So we'd always throw that dead in the middle of the set to knock people
Wake
up.
people up.
You know, hello, you know.
We can do this too.
But ironically, it turned out to be one of our favorite songs.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yeah, it is kind of dying down. But you know, other things are right there to replace it. We're at the home of the Dandy Warhols here, and Everclear hail from Portland as well.
Oh, I just played Everclear.
Oh yeah.
That's where they're from?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're good.
Yeah. So yeah, there's all kinds of things happening around here.
Have you thought about putting out a greatest hits album yet? I mean, you came out. You first came out with Sun, then Satellite Kid, then Luminaries, Ungawa Beep Beep, the single from Melt, and now Exit the Blue. I mean, you've got enough.
Yeah, but you know what all that earlier stuff is?
You got plenty of stuff there, and
it's like little children. It's like our growth phases, like the terrible twos and the painful teenage years.
I think we've both vowed, though, to stop apologizing for our old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even as embarrassed as we are about it, it's what it is. But we're just anxious to make another record. I don't know if I'd be interested in greatest hits album because we haven't made any hits yet.
We could put it out in the meantime. I mean, from here in 3 years from now, when you get the new one out, you could put it halfway.
Oh, there you go.
And everything would be brand new for most people, because
that's true.
Well,
so you'd have a whole CD full of #1 hits,
right?
And they wouldn't even know.
Like what happened to REM, you know? There. Bank it huge until that Out of Time album, and then people went back and bought their whole catalog, and that's how they became such millionaires.
Yeah.
They had 10 albums before that one.
Let me see. On with the next one. Have you considered getting together to contribute a song to a benefit CD? And if so, which organization would you like it to be, and what song would you use?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because we were just discussing that before you called. We're planning a benefit show here in town, and who knows, maybe it'll be recorded and we'll put it out. But Kirsten has a whole slew of causes that she's really into. I do.
It's actually one of the reasons why I really want this music to work, in addition just because I love doing music, and it's the only thing that I do really well. But it's really important to me to be able to give something back. And as far as causes, I feel we have a movement in the Northwest that's been going on too long, but it seems to come up on every election year. It's like an anti-gay thing that really bothers me a lot, and I'd like to just be able to help out in that arena so these bills, these ballot measures stop appearing. And I feel really strongly about women's issues. I volunteer and help out with rape victims and pro-abortion, things like that, women's issues.
You're pro-choice?
Yep.
Pro-choice, not a pro-abortion?
Right, exactly.
I don't think anybody's really a pro-abortion.
No, exactly, right.
Well, we appreciate you clarifying.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. I don't want people to start hating you,
That's
I know.
Right. Kill the babies! No.
No, it all ties together. I mean, whether it's helping stop anti-gay initiatives, or helping battered women and abused children, it's all the same thing. It's just stopping one segment of society from feeling that they can stomp on another.
Right.
And that's what, in whatever you are, man, woman, or child, it shouldn't. Everyone is equal, and we should treat each other with respect.
That's great. Maybe you could work with Ani DeFranco on one of those.
Yeah.
Get a CD. Or Tori Amos has that organization she created, RAIN.
Right.
Rape and Incest Network.
Yep.
That's totally cool.
Yeah. There can't. I don't think there can. I don't think there can be enough education about issues like that.
Right.
There just can't be. I mean, if everyone in the world started an organization about something like that, it would be great.
Yeah.
It still probably wouldn't be enough.
But it'd be a start.
Yep.
Would you be willing to maybe contribute a song to for a benefit album for the station?
Oh, of course.
So I was always wanted to do this ever since there was a CD that came out a few years ago called Rare on Air. It was a radio station, I think, California, KCRW, and they came out with the Rare on Air. It was a bunch of songs from performances they had live in their studio, and it was excellent. They had Tori Amos, they had Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Exene Cervenka, and a whole bunch more.
Great.
I've always wanted to do that.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to do that with all the bands I've had here in the studio, or just bands that I've interviewed and have them contribute a song and put it together. But are you going to be coming out this way?
That's the plan. We're trying to figure out how this will all be coordinated. But what we would like to do is go across the country and do. We're trying to. What we're thinking at this point is that we'd like to do something that would be different, and something that could give something back to the stations that have given us so much. And we were thinking of, at least in one phase of the tour, having just Dave and me go from station to station and do live on-air like shows, kind of thing. And then the stations could record them and use them for whatever they wanted.
Wow.
It'd be kind of different from your standard, well, this band's in town playing tonight at this club, and doing that whole thing. So that's the plan, and it would happen in the spring.
That's great.
Yeah.
Are there any other stations out here in the Northeast that give you a lot of play?
Yeah, actually, we just the album was just released on the 15th, on Monday, and we just started our calls this week, and it's been great. I think we've gotten the most positive response from any of our releases so far.
Great.
And lots of airplay, and the same as always. It's funny, people always ask us if there are certain pockets that play us more, certain parts of the country, and it's really not. It's pretty evenly spread throughout the different parts of the U.S. So
that's great.
A tour would be easy because we could just we wouldn't have to have these huge jumps.
Let me see. So that would be in the spring then. So that's in lieu of doing a tour?
That's the plan,
yeah.
I think, at this point.
So you're basically just like a studio band?
Exactly.
Now on this CD, Exit the Blue. Remember I told you this last week, Kirsten? About the song that was... It seemed like it was out of order.
Yeah.
Did you double check that?
Yeah.
Was I right?
No.
Oh, it wasn't.
We put that little thing in there just to put it in there, because we wanted to break up the songs, and there are a few little surprises on this record, and we just wanted to have that little. It's not actually a part of Melt. That little tom drum thing.
Right.
It's its own little piece of noise.
But that's listed as track 7.
I know. I think in a reprint of that we might need to clarify that, but we didn't want to list it as a song.
Yeah.
But I realized that when people were queuing up their CDs, if they went to track 7, like if they were looking on the back, then that's what they would find instead of Melt.
Aha. So
but
you're
it was
trying to
supposed to
confuse
be
us.
like a surprise.
Surprise! Have you thought about... well, first let's go talk about the webpage. You've got a great webpage for Rust Records. It's excellent. And I'm not just saying that because you have me on there doing the interview with you. But it's a very elaborate webpage. A very elaborate webpage. It's got a lot of great graphics, and you got a lot of different sub-pages doing the history, profiles, interviews, your future, You even have audio bites, which is always cool.
Yeah.
Was it hard to make all that?
A very dear friend of ours helped us create it, and he's a fellow I met several years ago. We were working together, and he's a graphic designer, and he's doing really well for himself as a graphic designer. But it was fun putting it all together because all these reviews and all these different history issues have all come together, obviously, over the years, and it was fun kind of putting it all together. It was actually very enjoyable, and it was quite a relief to have it finished.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of work, and it took a really long time, but it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we could do whatever we wanted. It was like, this is going to be on the web. Everyone in the world can see it, and we can do whatever we want. So it was actually a lot of fun.
It's definitely great. Last Saturday, I put together a webpage.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of can appreciate all the hard work that you put into it. But mine's like nothing compared to yours. But have you thought about putting maybe a video on it? Instead of, putting a MTV video together, seeing that they only play 12 videos a day now, it'd be like a waste to put a video together for them.
That's a really good idea. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah. Or maybe you can even get like one of those Digicams and set it up in your house and like leave it on 24 hours a day.
Just invite Big Brother in. There you go.
Have you heard about that webpage? There's a girl or a woman out in some college. She's got a camera in her dorm. 24 hours a day she broadcasts over the internet.
You're kidding.
It's called the Jenny Cam.
How funny.
It's weird because they show everything. I mean, when she's sleeping, it's on. When she's doing her homework, it's on. When she's getting dressed, it's on. When she's having sex with her boyfriend, it's on. When she's eating her Cheerios, it's like weird.
Wow.
And so far they have, I think, 20 million hits.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
No.
That's
it's
quite
weird.
A novelty.
Voyeurism is really in now, I guess.
Well, we ought to just have me sit down naked in front of the thing.
No, honey, I don't think that would encourage people to have website. Sorry.
Uh-oh. You're going to stand for that, David?
Yeah, she's right.
But that would definitely be an idea.
Yeah.
Or actually, seeing that you know how to do the audio bites, maybe you could do like an audio bite of interviews.
There you go.
Actually, I thought about that. That's a really good idea. And I was thinking that might be kind of neat.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it, but I'm still trying to think of how to I want to do audio bites of this show and put it on my webpage.
That's a great idea.
Definitely be cool.
Yeah.
We could put part of this interview on there.
There you go.
Yeah. So, anything you want to get out to the fans? Or try to convert some people into fans, maybe?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
I love having you on the show.
Really appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you for putting me on your webpage and putting me in your press release packet with my top 5 Fabulous 5 songs for 1994. Who knows? Maybe this year you'll probably be on again.
That would be quite an honor.
So I'm going to start playing Melt again. It might just hit #1 again. Wouldn't that be something?
Wow.
Well, I would just say that people should keep supporting college and indie radio. And as far as we're concerned, obviously if they're listening right now, they can hear your show and they can hear whatever that your station broadcasts. But if they wanted to learn more in-depth stuff about us, that was kind of the idea behind the website, so that people anywhere could, especially since we pulled everything out of stores, that was a way they could learn more about the band and all that. And we change it every week. We try to update some of the stuff or what's going on. So
that's great. Now the address is http://www.injune.com/tilde rust.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll keep giving that out tonight so everybody can hit you. Do you know how many hits you've had?
The last time I checked, because we're linked up to that link exchange, and they keep track for you, which is very nice. It was a couple thousand.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I've had about 9 hits so far since last Saturday. But the only problem is I've gone on it like 8 times to check. So I think you can count those.
Well, you see what you need is the mark cam.
Yeah.
You need a little cam in there.
Of you in the studio doing your show.
Yeah.
But you got to be like in your boxers or something.
Oh, I am. Ask my assistant here, Dan. He can tell you.
And it could be an inside look at indie radio.
There you go.
There you go.
That's where it's at.
There you go.
Commercial
Don
radio
Imus thing.
Commercial radio is just too boring these days.
Yep.
All right. Well, I thank you for being on the show again, and hope to
you.
see you in the
Appreciate
spring.
it.
It's been great. Stay on the line if you could.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you briefly as soon as we go off the air.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, David.
Thank you.
Weigel?
Yes.
Hey, I got it. And Kirsten Rian. Kirsten, you didn't change your name, huh?
Nope.
Good.
I'm
Good
me.
for you.
Good.
My wife didn't change her
That
name
Weigel
either.
thing, that's it. What is that?
My wife didn't want to change her name either. Actually, I told her not to.
They're women of the 90s.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yep.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Hold on. Alrighty, in June, featured right here on the show for many, many moons. Alright, we're going to come back with a Fabulous 5 song. You're listening to WECS, Willimantic 903 here in the studio.